Hello, ladies and gentlemen, Nick here, and welcome to my review of Doctor Who, the Five-ish Doctors Reboot. The half an hour short film written and directed by Peter Davison, who portrayed the Fifth Doctor in Doctor who also stars in the special, I suppose we could call it a special, alongside Sixth and Seventh Doctor actors Colin Baker and Sylvester McCoy, with cameo appearances from other actors and behind-the-scenes crew members and families of people involved of Doctor Who or Doctor Who expanded media throughout the many decades it's been on air. Well, the first 5 decades, up to the 50th anniversary, as this was made as a kind of a classic series tribute to the 50th anniversary, as the classic Doctor actors were not in the 50th anniversary special, though their Doctors were due to stock archive footage, with the exception of Tom Baker, of course. Who he did have stock footage archive, but he was also in the anniversary special himself. Paul McGann also, if he counts, also had his own minisode special, which I've already covered. So he also contributes. The only new series Doctor who didn't make who only appears in archive footage is Christopher Eccleston, sadly. But yeah, that's the Day of the Doctor, which at time of this video I have yet to record, but at time of you watching this video it has already gone, and this video should be going out before the Time of the Doctor's review, as this story comes after the 50th anniversary. The Five-ish Doctors Reboot. The plot of this special sees Peter Davison, Colin Baker and Sylvester McCoy hoping to get a call to be appearing in the 50th anniversary special. Peter Davison comes up with a plan to get them into the studio to film where they're filming the 50th anniversary, so that they can take part in the special. So this video basically sees these three Doctor actors, Peter Davison, Colin Baker, and Sylvester McCoy. That's basically just trying to get the full phone call for the 50th anniversary, and then they decide to go and try and sneak onto set and try and be part of the anniversary special. And hilarious hijinks occurs as the three of them try to do this. Plenty of laughs. For starters, the whole stuff on the 50th anniversary set is basically a bit of a runaround, live action runaround, as the three three actors see what the new series set is like, as well as also trying to avoid security guards and avoid getting into trouble with the people on set. There's also moments between these characters, with Peter Davison and Colin Baker and their families, including a very funny scene where Colin Baker's family try to hide the Vengeance on Varos special edition DVD from Colin. It's a very funny moment. And it's also it's quite funny how Peter Davison gets David Tennant to help them sneak into the studio set, as at this point David Tennant had married Georgia Moffat, so he was now Peter Davison's son-in-law. So Peter wanted David to get them onto the set. Oh, by the way, although it's called the Five-ish Doctors reboot, there's actually 7 Doctors technically appearing, although 1 via archive footage. Besides Peter Davison, Colin Baker and Sylvester McCoy, they also get Paul McGann on board, although he's only available due to he's got television commitments, so he says he's on board, and then he's not in the rest of the special because he's got television commitments. Probably also, maybe because he was doing the Night of the Doctor, perhaps. They also tried to get Tom Baker on board, but Tom Baker didn't reply to Peter Davison's emails in real life. So for the special, Peter Davison wrote in that Tom Baker was taken by the triangle thing from the Five Doctors in archive footage of Sharda, or well, technically the Five Doctors' use of as it has the triangle thing. So technically the Sharda archive footage used in the Five Doctors, which then added the effect, and then it's the archive footage of the Five Doctors, which was then used here, and it's also the Five Doctors special edition because of the more see-through. What is the word? I can't. When you describe a window, transparent. More transparent triangle cone thing, as opposed to the 4-sided triangle that was just black, that 2D black 4-sided triangle from the original broadcast version. The one that was used here is the transparent cone-like one from the special edition. So Tom Baker only appears through the archive footage of the Charter archive footage used in the Five Doctors, which was then used here. And of course, we've also got David Tennant and Matt Smith also making cameos in this special due to appearing in the 50th anniversary themselves, with Tennant even playing a bit of a small part in the special. I also really like the jokes with Sylvester McCoy as he's filming the Hobbit films. By the time this special was coming out, the Hobbit second film, The Desolation of Smaug, would have been probably in production or entering post-production, and then Battle of the Five Armies would follow shortly afterwards, as those films were released in 2013 and 2014, the Decembers of. So there's quite a few gags about that, and also Peter Jackson gets to have a cameo. Peter Jackson is a Doctor Who fan, and back in 2013, about April time, he said he would want to direct an episode of Doctor Who just to have a Dalek. Of course, he was filming the Hobbit films at the time, so he probably wouldn't have been able to do, say, the 50th anniversary special, for example, at the time, because he was filming the Hobbit. But maybe series 9, maybe he could have done this episode in series 9, perhaps. Anyway, the special is basically brilliant gag after brilliant gag. Peter Davison is a genius of writing slice of life comedies relating to appearing in the 50th anniversary special of Doctor Who. He knows how to write Colin Baker and Sylvester McCoy, similar to how they appear in the TV as their doctors, but mainly as their own personal people. I like how some of Colin Baker's personality kind of reflects the Sixth Doctor, but he's not too much like the Sixth Doctor themselves. He's still a really nice guy and quite a fun guy. Sylvester McCoy similarly has some great moments where he quotes his own Doctor, or along the lines of quoting his own Doctor. I wonder if Peter Davison has seen Remembrance of the Daleks, or if Sylvester McCoy was allowed to choose his own quote. It is a bit of a shame that Paul McGann doesn't appear as much in this special. He's only in like 1 or 2 scenes, especially as his name's in the opening titles. But maybe due to the filming commitments, he wasn't available. Peter Davison might even have known about his involvement in The Night of the Doctor. Certainly, somehow that he gets moments from The Day of the Doctor into the special with some of the recordings of David Tennant, Matt Smith, and also John Hurt in audio form on the TARDIS set when they're filming the scene where the three of them and Clara are on the TARDIS after the marriage to Elizabeth I scene, and also at the end when the filming of the Undergallery scene where the 3 Doctor actors are pretending to be Zygons, and they come hide underneath the cloths, which the Zygon are hiding underneath, and then we get to see the scene in the Undergallery take place. Maybe a slightly extended version as well, because I think there's some dialogue that might not have made it into the actual episode, or slightly different dialogue, but it's still pretty interesting. And heck, one of those, I actually watched this episode after watching The Day of the Doctor, just a few minutes afterwards. That camera shot of the that we see in the editing bit with at the end of this episode actually is one of the shots that actually appeared in the 50th anniversary special. Whether Peter Davison, Colin Baker, and Sylvester McCoy actually did just put those cloths on and actually did stand in as Zygons for those shots in the actual special is uncertain, but it would be nice to think that they did have some sort of minor contribution to the 50th anniversary special, minus the stock footage, whilst they were also filming this. That would have been really cool. And it would have also meant that all of the surviving living Doctors would have actually had some sort of contribution to the 50th anniversary special in some way or form, apart from Christopher Eccleston. Which is a shame, but it would have been, if that was the case, that would have been lovely. That would have been so nice. One of my favourite gags of this special actually comes from showrunner Stephen Moffat, who is basically playing with the 10th and 11th Doctor action figures in a TARDIS, which actually looks like one of the classic TARDISes, one of the toy classic TARDISes that was released, maybe the 7th Doctor one, perhaps, or the 4th Doctor one, but, yeah, I can totally see this being... that's how the Day of the Doctor was formed. That Stephen Moffat got a couple of action figures. Some characters may have stood in for other characters, of course, and he just developed the story from that. That would have been that probably makes a lot of sense. I think a lot of fans would do that, to be honest. Certainly the younger ones would do a multi-Doctor story with action figures, and depends on what the story is like. But it's still got to have some sort of enjoyment, entertainment. Even Dimensions in Time had some sort of slight entertainment, although sadly the Doctors never met, which was a bit of a disappointment. Well, in character, I should say. Because that story wasn't very good. But the other multi-Doctor stories, we have had some interaction with the Doctors, which is always an exciting thing and something to look forward to, as that is basically what we want to see in the multi-Doctor story. We want to see the Doctors interacting with each other. That's the main thing. In the Aimless Wanderings audios, the podcast about it in 2014 for their 1-year anniversary, Billy Tracy said that multi-Doctor stories, basically what the audience wants is multiple Doctors coming together and just talking. So yeah, for those fan audios, definitely that is a big yes. For TV, it would probably be slightly different because you would want something for a full-length television story as opposed to a shorter fan-made production. Most of the special is basically nothing but these three actors interacting with each other, and it's really great. Another one of my favourite gags is John Barrowman's secret family. Oh, that is a brilliant scene. Absolutely brilliant. Okay, so yeah, and on the production side, this is a really nicely put together short film, nicely filmed, nicely edited, and Peter Davison is a great director, and we've got some really fun and enjoyable moments throughout. And everybody does a great job in their acting, especially those who aren't actors and they just have cameos in the film. They're really good. Oh, something else to point out, with the Dalek operators, apparently Barnaby Edwards and Nicholas Pegg are in the special, but they're not playing the Dalek operators we see in the special. That is, in fact, Nicholas Briggs, the voice of the Daleks, David Troughton, son of Patrick Troughton, and Frank Skinner, a comedian who is also a Doctor Who fan, and then would appear as the character Perkins in a Series 8 episode. Mummy on the Orient Express. So that's interesting. And yeah, quite a lot of faces from both the television series, as well as a couple of big Finnish faces like Nikki Wildry, who played not Tasman Drew, was it? I think so, yeah, from the 8th Doctor Adventures Series 4, and Lisa Bowerman, who plays Professor Bernie Summerfield, plus many classic actors just popping in for a bit. There's a funny bit where Peter Davison's having several of the classic companions, including Lisa Bowerman and K9, for some reason spinning around his head, and then Matthew Waterhouse is at the very end, and then he explodes, and he says, "Now I'll never know if I was right." So I'm not sure what that sequence was about, but it was funny. And I also love how when Peter Davison's dreaming at the start, it's Janet Fielding who's telling him he's dreaming. Lots of great stuff and lots of great gags in this special. Do check it out. It is on the 50th anniversary collection DVD and Blu-ray, and it can be found on Vimeo and Dailymotion. Quality may vary depending on where you watch it, because it does have it's a lower quality on Vimeo and Dailymotion than on the DVD and Blu-ray. And sometimes the sound's not so great, but, you know, you can find it easily. Well, I say easily, it's not on YouTube. Well, not the whole thing. Why am I doing a David Tennant impression? Anyway, so to wrap up this review, I will be giving the 5-ish Doctors Reboot a 10 out of 10. Yep, a brilliant short film, brilliantly well done. Peter Davison, give yourself a pat on the back. And you, Colin Baker and Sylvester McCoy, you earned that champagne at the end of the special. You earned it. Well done. Anyway, so that's it from my review of the 5-ish Doctors Revisited. And that more or less wraps up the 50th anniversary celebrations. But 2013 had one more episode to give us. Stay tuned for the 2013 Christmas special, which, I'm sorry to say, is also the final story for the 11th Doctor, played by Matt Smith, or at least the final one as a consecutive incarnation, the incumbent incarnation. It will be his final story as the incumbent incarnation, and we will see him regenerate into Peter Capaldi's 12th Doctor at the end. So, thank you for watching this video, and I shall see you guys next time for The Time of the Doctor. I'll see you guys then. Goodbye.